A recent announcement from Anthropic says that text from Claude will now be watermarked. Here's everything you need to know about it, like how the watermarking system works, why you should care about it, and what to do if you've been writing content with Claude or working with an agency that does so. First, let's look at how this text watermarking works. The way LLMs build sentences is they choose the next word based on probability. So in this example, we've got the result of the study were quite, and then what comes next? Well, there are 4 candidate words, and it's essentially a roll of the dice. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and it chose the 4th candidate, which is notable. Now, the way the watermarking system works is it's going to basically choose a couple of these candidate words and it's going to mark them. So I'll go ahead and apply the secret key here to the candidates, and you can see that a couple of them were marked in green. Now, this isn't specifically how Claude's system works, but it's just a great example to illustrate the mechanics of it. So now, if you have a long paragraph of text, let's say, and it's got a lot of these words that are highlighted in green, then you are watermarked and you're detected as using AI to generate the text. Let's see how this works in an actual example. So I'm going to click here and make the text really long. Because longer examples are easier to detect. And let's go ahead and count this with the secret key on, and you can see it's lighting up like a Christmas tree. All right, so we have a lot of these candidate words that are part of that secret key. So it's kind of like we're caught red-handed by being highlighted in green, if you will. We've got 70% of this text is green, and therefore we have passed the threshold. Okay, so the watermarking system has shown that this was generated by AI. One of the most common questions is, can't we generate text with AI, but then do some editing and some humanizing to evade the system? Well, with this system, it's going to be actually really difficult. And this example shows it. So we have a little bit of text here, and we've got a lot of candidate words that are highlighted. We've fixed the typos, but that's very minimal editing, so we're still at a 96%, still plainly detectable as AI. Let's do a little light touch-up, some rewriting. Let's see if that does anything. 86%. Let's tighten the sentences. Let's rewrite more aggressively. We're still at 63%, plainly detectable. Then we move to heavy edit, and it's still 25%. It's kind of borderline. And this is where we sort of just hit a wall, because if you're going to do a heavy edit or a heavy rewrite, what's the point of using AI in the first place? Because its purpose is for efficiency and ease. And you're kind of losing that if you have to do the heavy rewriting, which is what makes this system really tricky. It's also why at Six City Marketing, we've always had the philosophy that we go mostly human. We meet with our client experts, we use their quotes verbatim on their websites, and our writers go the human route as well. We don't just plug a topic into Claude or ChatGPT and have it spit out the content for us that we go and publish. Next big question is, why is Claude doing this? Well, from what I can tell, it's mainly compliance. They say here in this tweet, we're implementing watermarking to comply with the EU AI Act. But I am a little concerned that the watermarking system might be used for other purposes as well. I want to take you to this quote here from Anthropic's blog. How do I check if a piece of text was written by Claude? We will soon be offering a watermark detection API. We're in the process of working out the details of its implementation. Now, this is unknown. I don't know if any, search platforms, social media platforms, whatever, are going to tap into this API to help them detect what, if any, text was written by Claude. But that's something that could be coming. And I do see this sort of thing on other social platforms, like on Instagram. Now, they don't use a system like Claude's watermarking, but they have their own thing going. And I'm seeing a lot more posts have this AI info flag on it. And I know a lot of creators that are not happy about this because they do use AI to help them build transcripts and things like that. But a lot of them are not using it too heavily, and it's still getting flagged. Well, their audience is seeing this, and with the reputation that AI has in some spheres, you could lose trust. Are we going to see something like this in the search results for Google or Bing or somewhere else? Are we going to see it on other social platforms? Like if you use Claude to write a LinkedIn post, are we going to see something? I'm not really sure, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Here's the thing though. Let's just take the watermarking system out of the equation. There was AI detection happening even before this, and Google itself has a hard stance on AI. Look what it said in the Google Search Central blog. Google's guidance on using generative AI content on your website. It's flagging scaled abuse when it perceives little to no effort, little to no originality, and little to no added value. So watermarking or not, if you're using an AI system or tool to generate your content, that's little to no effort. Since AI writes at the average, then we're hitting that little to no originality flag. And if both of those things are true, you're adding little to no value. It's why at Six City we have taken such a hard stance on this, and we went human even in the age of AI. We do use it for improvements, efficiency. We use it to enhance human content. And I'm going to get into a little bit more about that in a second. But let's look at the problems that AI content has had, once again, even before this watermarking thing came into play. It's very well known on LinkedIn, these traffic charts, and people call them Mount AI because what websites were doing was going crazy with these new AI tools and scaling up content massively. And initially, you would see a benefit. You'd see some traffic gains from that. But after not too long, you'd hit a wall and all of that would fall off a cliff and your traffic charts would look like this. Here's a real example of this. This is Mom Cozy, and they're pretty authoritative. Clearly, they've done a lot of work to build that authority over time. And it's just kind of sad to see on the left, you see sort of natural and really strong growth. And then you can kind of see right about this point here, all right, March 2026, things look a little more aggressive. And we know that they did use AI to scale up their content. And not long after that, things are falling off a cliff. So you have to be really careful with this sort of thing. I did an entire other video and wrote a blog on this. It's called How Much of Your Content Can AI Write? And I think it's really pertinent to this new announcement from Claude and their watermarking system. I took a hard stance on this and I gave you an exact number. Aim for 75% human, 25% AI. If you're writing human, then your words are not going to be part of that candidate set, right? So you're not going to meet those probabilities for watermarking, and your content is going to be totally clear. Not only that, but it's going to be durable no matter what system pops up in the future. The other thing we need to talk about is what should that 25% AI look like? Because I'm really specific there as well. I think it's totally fine to write things like metadata, your title tags and meta descriptions with AI. I also think it's okay to use it for headings, bullet points, tables, key takeaways, notable quotes, things like that, where the AI system can kind of search through your content and look for opportunities to enhance it and make it a better user experience. But it's not acting like a writer. Everything else, the entire body of the content should be human written, and you should be letting your expertise and your stories, your opinions and your recommendations come through. That's what's going to make your content hold up over watermarking systems, algorithm updates, whatever. It's going to help differentiate it. It's going to be super original, and it's going to rank better, and it's going to be a much more likely candidate for selection in an AI search result as well. When I did that video, I shared a rule of thumb. Once it's more than a sentence or two, a human should be writing it. And this whole topic of watermarking and how that system works actually makes this advice pretty sound, because we know that longer passages are better for the watermarking system to analyze, and detect. That's why our writers and our SEOs, when they're working with clients, don't let AI write more than a couple of sentences. We really try to stick with these rules that I've got on the screen on the left side, and we let AI do its thing in those areas, and then we go human for everything else. So a really interesting update from Anthropic. Now, if you've been using AI to write, or you've been working with an agency who has been doing the same, reach out to us. We're happy to give you a free website assessment and talk to you about how you can align your strategy for future growth and avoid any trouble no matter what updates are on the way.